Greetings, everyone. We're coming back at you with another video. Seat at the table with Larry and Melvin. I'm Melvin.
And I'm Larry.
And we anxious to get started. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
First, I'd like to say thank you for all the feedback we received. We got a lot of feedback.
A lot of feedback.
Some of it positive, some of it disagreeing with us, and we like that.
We definitely like
We
that.
want you to disagree if you have an opposing viewpoint. Please tell us.
And
But the whole point I'm trying to make is people are actually watching us. Can you believe it?
No, I thought they were going to probably cancel us as soon as I started going in on people. So I'm just shocked and amazed.
People are actually watching and they enjoying it.
I'm glad they're enjoying it.
And I wrote down some of the things that they said: funny, entertaining, shocking, but hilarious. So those are good.
And I got to say, for another week straight, I'm sorry, Ma. I know you. I've been going in on people, and
well, that's part of what
rants.
they like too. So it's all good.
Also, I have to give a shout out to my man Matu. He watches this. Thank
Matu.
you so much for your feedback. We will be getting you on the show. We are going to be bringing people in. We're going to do it all. But we remember, we need you guys to keep this going and help us by subscribing. Subscribe.
We're getting a lot of views, but we're not getting a lot of people subscribing.
Exactly.
So please subscribe and hit the like button if you like what you see.
Definitely hit the like button. The like button helps us out immensely with the way YouTube does the algorithms. So with us, as we start in grassroots, we don't have a lot of money. So please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, subscribe with us, and then we can go ahead and move forward and do bigger and better.
All right. So let's get right down to some topics.
Time for the mess.
All right. First thing I want to talk about, Trump just recently wiped out the sentences of several people. The former governor of Illinois, Rod Blagojevich, the junk bond king, Michael Malcolm, and the New York police commissioner, Bernard Kirpick. Okay, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I think it's just, actually, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, this former governor, just to give the people a little background, he tried to sell Obama's seat.
Barack
Obama's seat in Illinois once Obama ran for president or became president.
Yes. He had to vacate his seat.
He had to vacate his seat, and Rod Blagojevich tried to sell it to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
And he was caught, prosecuted, and so forth and so on, and he received 14 years, and he served 8, and Trump just wiped the slate clean and let him out.
See, so what this is, and this is once again, you can call it what you want. I was just talking to somebody the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's doing what he do best. Whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Okay.
Trump is going, because, Trump is feeling just like all of his cronies and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna stop me? You want to you want to try and impeach me again? I mean, what y'all want to do? So that's his whole thoughts on the matter. Y'all tried to impeach me.
Didn't work.
Y'all already saw exactly.
Well, he on record, he's impeached. You can't erase that. Yeah,
but you didn't.
He didn't remove him from office.
We couldn't get him removed
because the Republicans had a majority in the Senate. Otherwise, he would be out.
Well, and the funny part about it, you got to remember too, though, when Nixon got impeached, most of the Republicans voted to remove him from office. Most of the Republicans who stood up and said that, they couldn't allow a situation like this to happen.
Right.
The children of those same Republicans now are voting Democrat because of the way this situation was handled.
Right, I got you.
But yeah, Rod Blagojevich, he was a slime ball who got caught doing something wrong. And just like anything else, Trump is showing the world, I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
And nothing you can do about it.
And nothing you can do about it. So that's what we're looking at.
But let's just make it clear. He's within his legal right as president to
you can
pardon anybody he wants.
You can commute the sentence or pardon anybody you want as president. But the norm of it all, and this is why every time you turn around and mention something to do with Trump, orange ass is it's just everybody use unprecedented.
Did you call him orange?
He's orange. Come on, let's be realistic, boy.
Oh, boy.
His hair gray and his face orange.
Here we go.
But but what they keep saying is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. The only reason why it's unprecedented because
nobody never acted this crazy before.
No one's ever done it. So you got this guy who's sitting in office and he's just telling everybody, you play nice with me, I'm gonna play nice with you. And that's basically because like the sheriff in Arizona, Sheriff Arapahoe.
Yeah.
Joe Arapahoe, whatever his name is. He just commuted his sentence.
Yeah.
And he's the dirty sheriff who got caught doing a whole bunch of illegal stuff. He was a guy who was pitching tents out in the prison and he had a whole bunch of his prisoners, mostly, let's be realistic, black and brown, who were sitting outside and 100-something degree weather. A lot of those guys ended up suing the state, or their family sued the state because it was inhumane conditions.
Right.
And Joe Arapahoe was like, don't care. They're sheriff.
And he commuted his sentence as well.
And he commuted his sentence also.
Let me ask a question
Trump
that
is doing
a lot of people are probably wondering and not saying. Does he pardon anybody black or Hispanic or Asian?
The thing about it, this is the point.
I don't know of anybody
no. And
they all white.
And they're all white, but you got to understand this is the thing. You got to look at the crime.
Right.
They're white collar crimes.
Right.
They're all the things that he was actually indicted on for his impeachment.
That's the point.
Bribery, obstruction, all those different things that he had supposedly did.
And all the people in his cabinet have been indicted on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
he feel right at home with those crimes.
The real deal, he's just doing what he's going to do what he wants to do. And he is not only making, and this is the funny part about this situation, and this is why the Republican Party right now is sitting back going, okay, wait a minute, because he is setting a new precedent.
Mm-hmm.
So if a Democratic president comes in and say 8 teenage black boys are in jail,
mm-hmm.
and he feels like it's unfair, he can say, you know what, let's pardon him.
Mm-hmm.
What can the Republican Party say if he does that? They're going to say something, of course.
They can't do anything.
They're going to do it. They're going to say something because they're
But legally, they can't.
But
do
legally,
anything.
they had just set. But legally, they just set this precedent.
Yeah.
That you can't do it. But watch how fast they're going to try.
Oh yeah.
When a Democratic president comes in,
and we will have a Democratic president.
But see, and when they have a Democratic president, as soon as he steps foot in the White House, they're going to be like, let's limit his power. We can't have him. They're gonna immediately.
Well, you saw what they did with Barack. They tried to block everything he did,
and that's what they're going to try to do. Again.
He had to use executive privilege so many times,
and the same reasoning behind that is why the Republican Party, they know that if Trump loses, they're going to be quick to be trying to draw up every law they can, but and this is why I keep telling everybody, make sure you vote locally. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Because if you don't, the House and the Senate is gonna get filled with more Republicans, and they're gonna do whatever the hell they want to do yet again.
Okay, let's move on. I want to talk about this Johnny Come Lately guy. This Mike Bloomberg.
Oh, see, I was trying not to mad, Ma.
This guy is something else. How do you get in the presidential race late? Hasn't been in one debate yet. Apparently, he's getting in the Nevada debate. I mean, this guy is just pushing his money around. I'm a billionaire. I do what I want. I want to be president. There's nothing you can do about it because I'm going to spend millions and millions and billions of dollars to make sure it happens. But guess what? It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna win.
That's pretty much how you do it. You're worth $60 billion. You're gonna go ahead and buy in. Trump bought in to the other ones, and he used racism to keep his campaign alive. The only difference with Trump and Bloomberg is that Bloomberg is completely using his own money because Bloomberg is worth $60 billion. Now
let's talk about Mr. Bloomberg and his stop and frisk.
Oh, we got a lot. To talk
stop
about
and frisk. For over 10 years in New York, your home, and
Kansas City's my home, but New York is what I love.
Right. And he just stopped people let's tell them what stop and frisk.
So what stop and frisk is that it was a law that was enacted in New York. It was one of the most controversial laws that was enacted in New York, to where saying that in order to curb crime, that a police officer did not even need a
probable cause
have need any reason.
What it is,
they could just stop you, tell you to empty out your pockets, tell you to empty out your book bag, whatever.
And supposedly they're looking for weapons.
No, they're supposed to be looking for weapons, drugs, anything illegal. The problem with that, though, and which what made it a big mockery, is that stop and frisk, it was like 90%, 95% of the people they were stopping,
black and brown,
were black and brown people in black and brown areas. They were hardly ever stopping white people.
Right.
So, and then what was worse on top of that, out of all the stop and frisk that they did, I think they only got less than 1% of people that they actually caught.
Right.
That was actually carrying a gun or carrying drugs or carrying this. So they was just basically running rampant through New York, harassing black people, black and brown people.
That's exactly what it's all about, and he tried to rationalize it by saying it's gonna help decrease crime. And basically, what they're saying is we want to stop crime before it happens. And so they going in the hood. Let's be real. They not down in Manhattan doing this. They going in the hood, stopping and pulling people over, putting their hands up against the wall, going through their pockets.
Well, you gotta remember
detaining them.
Well, you gotta remember this whole dust up that's getting ready to kill his election it started from, he had doubled down back in 2015 and was telling everybody, well, you gotta understand, we gotta throw minority black kids up against the wall and check them, because that's where the crime is. The crime is everywhere black.
That's what you call discrimination.
Well, not only did he say that, but he also was talking
about... A month before he announced, he gave an interview and defended stop and frisk.
That was like in 2015 where he actually defended the stop
and frisk. And recently than that.
And then he tried to defend it, and he came out a couple months ago and said he was
sorry. Yeah. And we know how you feel about apologies.
Oh, no. See, this is why. Once again, this is the issue. So with Bloomberg, not only was he saying that it was okay to do it, but we needed to do it more, and we should have stopped white people less, because white people don't commit crimes, right?
That's the biggest lie I ever heard.
But that's
statistically,
and that's what he said. So when they first started to come out, and he was asked about it, he was like, at that time he did the white people two-step. At that time, I thought a whole different way, and I love niggers now, so niggers are okay with me, so we're not going to even get mad. The problem with that is that, you haven't changed. A leopard doesn't change its spots.
What is the white people two-step?
The white people's two-step is where you go from side to side. You try to dodge.
Oh, I see.
So you take 2 steps this way or take 2 steps that way so that they can't line up that shot on you correctly.
Oh, Lord.
And what they do, and what he did was sit back and say, I love niggers now. That's his whole little plan. So
he didn't use that word.
No, he didn't know. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying what he's really saying.
Oh, you paraphrasing.
I'm paraphrasing what he really means. So what happens is you have this situation where he sits back and he's trying to do the white people two-step. He's trying to find a way to bounce around it and make sure that nobody picks up on it.
This stop and frisk is not new.
It's not even just a stop and frisk.
But let me explain what I mean by that. In my hometown, they had something in the '60s called the Big Four.
Right.
In Detroit.
Well,
they had the Big Four.
Well, and that's
when you're in a police vehicle, 2 officers in the front, 2 in the back, and they just they jump out on you.
Yeah. Well, see,
and then in the '70s they had something called stress.
Right.
And people out there of a little age, and you're from the Midwest, I'm sure you heard of this. And that is an acronym for Stop the Robberies, Enjoy Safe Streets. And Mayor Coleman Young, he put a stop to that when he was elected in 1974. Because that's just a bunch of BS to harass black people. This Big Four and stress reminds me so much of this stop and frisk BS.
But see, this is the thing.
And he wants to be the president of the United States for 10 years of this crap.
But see, not only that, you got to also remember, though, and this is the thing that where Bloomberg had pretty much failed, because he actually got on TV, was talking about, we need to keep black people where they at.
And where is that?
That's where, in the hood, because that's where the crimes are.
Right.
We can't have them, that because he wanted to redefine redlining.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to redefine the idea of that black people are criminals. But then what I find most ironic, Bloomberg, you pile of horse shit, you sit back and you got all these commercials talking about how you're trying to help black people and how you're taking all these pictures.
Then he
with
got Obama.
Exactly.
Obama ain't endorsed you. Obama did not endorse you. That's deception.
Yes, it is.
That's BS and deception.
And the thing that's funny about the whole thing is that you constantly
Obama didn't endorse you.
And you constantly
he hasn't endorsed anybody. So why you got him in your commercials pretending like he endorsed you?
But
you liar.
But the thing about it is that he wants to because he knows that how strong the black vote is. Trump is the only one that doesn't get it. Trump is the one that doesn't.
Well, why use deception? If the man can endorse whoever he wants, he hasn't endorsed anybody, him or Michelle.
What would you expect? What do you expect Bloomberg to do? Come out and be like, "I love you niggas now. You're my buddies. Come on and vote for me." No, they're not going to vote for you. Bloomberg, nobody's stupid. You're not fooling nobody. Nobody's going to vote for you. Nobody wants to be bothered with you because a lot of us still remember all the words you said, and then all those tapes that are coming out. Are all, and you don't even have a good answer as to why, or even a good apology. Your apologies fall on deaf ears. You're an old white man doing what old white men do, but except this time you got to understand. We see you. We know what you're up about. Fuck you, and go somewhere and hide.
Take it easy, Larry. So tell me, what do you think about the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, endorsing Mike Bloomberg? And the only thing I can think of is because he's a mayor. He was a mayor. He wanted to endorse a mayor. He said that Bloomberg know how to run a major city. What does that got to do with running the country?
This is the problem. So what happens? And this is something that once again, it's a slave mentality at its best. You see somebody with a lot of money. You see somebody with a lot of prominence. You see somebody who is sitting back. All of a sudden, now they're on your team. And your first thing is, we need to jump in on this train so we can make sure we get what we can get out of them. The problem is that, and I
certainly hope the people don't listen to that endorsement.
I find it interesting that a lot of people are jumping in on Bloomberg. The same black people that are jumping in on Bloomberg are the same ones that know all the bullshit that he said. And the only reason why y'all going ahead and you're running in behind this guy is because he's rich. And y'all want to go ahead and do the same thing like Trump did. You want to go ahead and take back the White House, but you're substituting one devil for another.
Yep.
The horns are just as pointy, and he got a tail with a point on it, and he's standing with hooves. He is no different than the devil we have in the White House right now.
Are you calling Mike Bloomberg a devil?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
So
remember, send your hate mail to Larry. Okay?
And be ready, because I'm going to answer.
Let's differentiate who we are. This is Larry. I'm Melvin. Send your hate mail this way.
Send it, please. Send it away. Okay. Because Bloomberg is horrible for black people. Bloomberg is horrible for white people. I agree,
but I wouldn't call him a devil.
I'm saying, if we already have one devil in it, I'm speaking figuratively.
Okay, there we go.
He's a horrible person, a piece of shit, but no, I wouldn't call him a devil. That's right. I'm going to cuss every chance I get.
All right, let's move on. You got to give us some...
And getting back, and one more thing, it's with the way that Trump is pardoning people, and this is the thing that's funny because I know we touched on this, but I want to dive
go right
a
ahead.
Bit deeper.
24 feet in the pool. Right?
We're not doing 24 feet. I'm saving that for later. I'm gonna be good. I'm like Eddie Murphy in 1,000 words. I only got so many ways I can say it. The thing that I find most interesting is that he is painting a picture because he is trying to pardon himself because his legacy is tarnished with that impeachment. So he's going to try and do whatever he can to get that stigma of that he got impeached off his record. Right. So that he could be, the best president and I didn't have no problems in my presidency. Bro, you got impeached.
And not only that, 16, 17 people in your cabinet were indicted.
So... one of the things
zero in Obama's legacy for 8 years. Zero. And you only been in office 3.5 years. So 17 people. That's horrible.
Keeping along the penal system, I wanted to talk about 50 Cent has this new show coming out.
Oh, okay.
He has a show about the guy who's going to jail. He ends up going to prison and he becomes a lawyer in prison, and then he gets out and he represents himself and gets himself out of prison.
Right.
The reason why that show is very, very interesting to me is because it's actually based off a true story.
Okay.
A black man was unlawfully, of course, because, hey, when you're black, you're guilty first, right? So he got unlawfully locked up, and he ended up helping other prisoners get out. And once he was helping those other prisoners get out of jail, because he was finding problems, just like in most times when you're dealing with the judicial system here in America, that most times you find out that you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
But for black people, it is guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
So they tried to put murders on these young black men. They were all coming to him, and that's what the show is basically. That's the plot to it.
What's the name of it?
I can't remember the name of it.
Well, we'll give it to him. We'll give it to him.
So it says, it brings back that the Netflix show movie. I don't know if you watched this, called When They See Us, talking about the exonerated five.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you had high school level kids that were locked up in Rikers Island.
Oh boy.
Now, everybody who knows anything about Rikers Island, that's basically hell on earth.
Right. And you got high school kids.
And you have high school kids that were locked up in there with grown men. They went through hell.
Yeah.
All
hardened criminals.
Come to find out they were innocent, and they've been locked up most of their life. Their life has been destroyed and forfeited. The people who locked them up, the female prosecutor who locked them up, she basically just retired from a board where she was supposed to speak on behalf of black people. I don't know how that shit ever happens.
Wow.
President Trump, now president, at the time he was just dickhead Trump, and I do mean dickhead.
Apprentice.
Well, I call him dickhead, but he was right, taking out op-eds and putting out on the paper. Never once did anybody apologize or even attempt to look these boys in the face. None of them would. Not even Trump, because they wanted to come to Trump. And they wanted to talk about his criminal reform. Did you know that he turned them down?
Oh, I believe that.
Because he did not want to look them in the eye.
I believe it.
Knowing that he called them savages. And that's the thing that I find most interesting.
But he let Blagojevich go. He let Michael Malcolm go.
They actually got out before they got out while he was becoming president, but it was in
But
the
he
midst
wouldn't
of
talk to them, but he let these
he would never
these criminals go.
What can you say when you call people a pack of savages? We need to they need to be executed. They need this and they need that. That was part of the conversation that he was saying. That's what he was putting out in newspapers and everywhere. But he's the one who...
Not only that, let's just grab him by the...
Well, that's a whole different thing together. But
he's the president.
What I find funny, and the reason why I like the relevance to this is because when you look at black people in America, especially when you look at it in terms of incarceration,
the numbers are horrible.
You get people that white people who I love debating white people, and I love it when y'all say to me,
and
what about black on black crime?
Well, let me give them some statistics real quick, then I'll let you finish. 13% of the population in this country, but 48% of the prison population. Yep. Now let that sink in for 1 second. Mm-hmm. I mean, those statistics are just startling. With 13% of the population in the country of the United States, but we're 48 to 50% of the prison population. Mm-hmm.
Now that's by conditioning and planning. See, you got to also remember. Now we're going to take the 24-foot dive.
Okay.
So you got to remember that when the Emancipation Proclamation was put into effect, it was put into effect to say that black people were free. Even though once we were free with nowhere to go. We were free with no pot, with no place to stay.
To get 40 acres. Okay.
We were free with nowhere to go, nothing to do. And we were free with no land. We were free. They were just basically telling you, just go.
Yeah.
Now, mind you also that the slave owners who lost their slaves, the government gave them reparations for losing their workforce.
Yeah.
So that they can be able to maintain their lifestyle. The government saw fit to give them money so that they can maintain their lifestyle.
Since you went there, let me ask you this question right off the bat. Civil War, states' rights, or was it about slavery?
It was about slavery.
Thank you.
It wasn't
I
about states'
totally
rights.
agree.
The thing about it is you also got to remember everybody who yells out states' rights, it was bullshit.
It was
because
about slavery.
if it was completely about states' rights, then if a state like, say, Georgia, who says, okay, well, we don't want to have slaves no more, why was that a problem for the South? What about, let's take a look off the top of my head. Texas actually belonged to Mexico. The reason why America hated and took Texas from Mexico because the Mexicans told them you cannot bring slaves into our country. Texas all the way to California was part of Mexico.
Yeah, it was.
So since that was the case, that's when America said, well, since we can't bring slaves here, then we're going to take it and we're going to annex it and say this is part of our country now. Yeah. And that's what happened. So you have to understand that people who sit back and they create these situations, just to make sure that they stay on top.
Right.
That's why the judicial system is set up the way it is. That's why Jim Crow was such a horrible thing for black people, because they constantly wanted to put pressure on us. If you come around and smile at a white woman, they're going to run in your house and they hang you and all of a sudden they free to go. I mean, these are all these things. So then you look at, even to today, let's talk about not then, let's talk about now. So then you look at, people ask all the time, well, what is the
relevance?
Yeah, why is that important to us here? Because the same things are happening to this day, except it's just not the average white person running in with pitchforks and knives. No, they call the police to do that for them.
Yeah.
So the police comes in, they snatch you out your house, they beat you up, they throw their knee in your back, no matter if you're a young boy or even a young girl. Because you got to remember, here in Texas, the young girl who was leaving the pool party, a police officer slammed her on the ground, threw his knee in her back, and threw another knee in her neck.
And they got it on video.
Then turned around and pulled guns on the young boys because they said, that's a girl, quit treating her like that.
Yep.
So we're still getting the same thing. Redlining still is a thing because they now want to go back to being able to charge black people a higher percentage rate than what they would charge a white person with the same credit scores. That's what's going on now.
Yeah.
That's what's happening now. That is something that's been going on. They're doing away with.
So what about the argument that a lot of people on Twitter with your Twitter rants? So their argument is, what about black on black crime?
Oh, I love black on black crime because you know why? What about taco on taco crime? What about lettuce on lettuce crime? What about tomato on tomato crime? What about ice cream on ice cream? Crime has nothing to do with color. Crime has to do with proximity. If you put a certain set of people in the middle of a downtrodden or
you're going deep,
a poor, impoverished area, yes, you are going to have what? Crime, because those people are going to try to survive. Just like
so it's not about color; it's about green.
It's about poverty. It's not even about money. It's about poverty, because you got to look at how far poverty goes. Right. Poverty it gets into your school system because you have worse schools. You have cheaper teachers who are going to teach you, who's not going to give you
can't afford books. You can't afford computers. You can't afford this.
That's why in Detroit they had a problem. But then also what people don't understand is, well, everybody always throws up how Chicago is the biggest black on black crime. Little Rock, Arkansas doesn't get mentioned. Connecticut doesn't get mentioned. South Dakota doesn't get mentioned. But these are all areas where there's a lot more white crime. See, so instead of you trying to sit back and talk about black on black crime, you got to also understand that black on black crime was presented and created by whom? White America. White America was making sure that there was not enough money going into the schools. Just like where you see, even today, where they was talking about on the news about how when Austin took over the school district in Beaumont, how graduations dropped and how this got big because they're taking money out of those schools and they're sending them to where the more affluent schools are. That's why everybody runs around talking about how important the census is, which is a load of bullshit, because what the census does is only going to give you, it's going to tell the government how much money we need to make sure that each one of our students get a good education. So then when they give them the money that they need, they're going to give the inner city schools the low amount, and they're going to give the schools where the rich white people are the bigger chunks, because they're going to teach their kids about the violin, Japanese, Spanish, French, and German. But in the inner city school, they're going to teach you that Martin Luther King is your Black History guy. Good luck. That's the problem. This is why it's important, because not only does it affect how people interact, that's how you affect how people are now getting treated in Detroit. Because when Detroit went bankrupt, where did all the shopping go? Out to the suburbs. Where who was waiting on it? The rich white people. So then what did the rich white people do? They did gentrification at its best. They went back into the inner city.
Yep.
That they could have
tore
been
everything down.
That they could have been pumping,
revitalized.
That just like they could have revitalized it while there were black people still there. So what they do is they get all the black people to move out. They go ahead and make it more expensive, but then they bring back everything that they wanted for pennies on the dollar. So if your house is worth $150,000 and they tell you, man, ain't nothing here, we'll give you $50,000 for it though, those black people are going to jump at it. Then when they go out and they buy a house out there, and then they start draining all that money out of that system, and they're going to put it back where? In the inner city that you just left.
And now the price is $400,000.
Exactly. Because why? Because they now have the schools, they have the property that they want, and they're going to allow you to tear up the suburbs. That's what gentrification.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's get another topic. You got a bunch of them here.
Yes, I do. I want to talk about one. I have to talk about because I am brokenhearted. Ja'net Dubois.
Walona on Good Times.
Walona from Good Times.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. You were beautiful. You were the object of a lot of my dreams, boy.
Oh, boy.
Woo, when I was a little kid, oh, man. I was like, oh, she was bad. She was fine.
Go ahead, Larry.
She was fine when I was a kid, but we miss you. We love you. Rest in peace,
Rest
Wayne.
in peace. Yes.
Hopefully
Good
you'll be able to
times.
see what was the mother from Good
Oh yeah,
Times?
yeah,
She
yeah.
passed away.
Yeah, she passed away. Yeah.
So you get a chance to see some of your friends. So we wanted to let you know it is sad to see someone like that go.
74.
But
yeah, she was 74. Yeah.
Now to get into some more fun stuff, John Kelly. I find it funny.
Chief of Staff
John Kelly. So John Kelly was talking about, because Trump went on his firing spree. Trump he fired the European Union ambassador to America, Sondland.
Yep.
And then he fired a military colonel, a war hero colonel, in Vindman.
And John Kelly didn't agree with that.
Well, it's funny because when Trump, you got to remember when Trump first came into office,
Does he have any friends? Does Trump have any friends?
Well, Trump is
everybody he associate with. They hate him later.
You have to remember, Trump is one of those people who don't mind burning bridges.
Well, he burned a lot of them.
Well, the thing about it is that Trump always knows that there's going to be another white person that he can ask to come in, and they're going to run in and do whatever. So that's what he does. So, but what I find is interesting about this situation.
Does controvery follow you everywhere?
Oh, everywhere. It's always on my shoulder.
You're not shy at all.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
Shoot, I'm also 6'3", 285.
You are. So, you don't want to mess with him.
You want the smoke. Hey, I'm always ready for some smoke. But what I find interesting about this with Trump and the whole situation with John Kelly is the same thing that I was telling another gentleman about. Is that once they get fired or they leave the administration, they always have so much to say.
Yeah.
Oh, Trump ain't shit. Trump is stupid.
They should say that while they're there.
Say it one more time.
They need to say that while they're there. Don't be afraid of him.
While they're there, they are. Everything he does is above board, and he's doing everything right,
Lies.
And what makes it even more interesting is that you look at the way Trump sits back and he tries. Once again, we said this last week. I'm gonna say it again. Trump sits back and talks about how important the military is to him. He always talks about how great the military is, how the military this, the military that, the military. Why are you firing a colonel who still has shrapnel in his leg that could come loose and go into his and kill him at any moment? You're firing him, and not only did you fire him, you sack of shit. You had him escorted out the fucking building like he was nothing.
So what branch you served in? What branch?
I was in the Army.
Army. So I can tell it's pretty sensitive to you.
It's very sensitive to me, no matter what branch.
Because you served and he didn't.
Well,
Trump did not.
It's very sensitive to me because if Trump was to come into and say fuck the military, I would be okay with him treating him bad because I would say, you know what? He came in saying he didn't give a fuck.
Right.
About the
He
military.
made his truth. But he trying to be deceptive.
But it not only was he trying to be deceptive, he wanted to demean this person.
Yeah.
You're going to have security escort a colonel out the fucking White House. Fuck you. Fuck you in your ass, you orange pussy, because you're the same pussy who was sitting there talking about how you had bone spurs, and you're that same pussy that could not even want to serve. So when you sit back and you treat colonels like that, I don't give a fuck if I don't care about Vindman, his opinions. I care about the man because he's a brother in arms.
Yeah,
he's a brother in arms that had put his life on the line for this country.
Just like you get treated that way.
You get treated like
by
that
the president, the commander in chief.
No different than the way he treated the Hans, that Arabic family where they had lost their son who got killed. And he turned around and talked shit about them. And so all you whitewash motherfuckers who talk that bullshit about how he's making the military great, go fuck yourselves. Because this is a perfect example of how he's making America great again. By turning soldiers and treating them like shit, taking their pensions from them and using them to build his wall. So everybody who comes with that, he's all about America. And he does that little bullshit where he acts like he's hugging the flag. Fuck all y'all. Because the truth comes out every time, and you motherfuckers can make it whatever you want to, but as a military man, the last thing, and then on top of that, which reminds me, you self-righteous sacks of shit who sit here and try to make it like he has every right to do this and do that. He treated all those people who had had transsexual surgery, and they were military. And everybody who sit back, everybody was talking about we don't want gays, we don't want transsexuals, we don't want this and that in the military. You've never been in a fucking firefight. You've never been in a war. Because if you're in a firefight, the only thing you give a fuck about is can that person shoot straight? Yeah. That's it. So for y'all to pretend and all you motherfuckers to jump up and have something to say about that military and never serve, shut the fuck up and sit down. And Trump, you bone-spurring ass motherfucker. Fuck you.
Okay, let's move right along here. Let's move right along. Give me
now another one. Whew. And that brings me to another person that I'm going to give a smiling, happy fuck you to. Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
The singer?
No. He was the ambassador to Ukraine, who all of a sudden...
Who wrote the book?
Who wrote the book.
Yeah.
And
his
all
book
of a sudden,
is coming out soon.
I hope your book goes wood.
Why?
I hope nobody buys your book.
He's telling the truth about Trump.
So, my problem is where was that truth when he was in the House?
That's true. Yeah.
You see, this is the thing. Wait.
Okay.
Where was that truth when he had a chance to testify and get it out there? Where was that truth?
Well, they voted that they didn't want any witnesses.
That was in the Senate, not in the House.
Yeah.
The House had subpoenaed him.
Yeah.
He refused to come. And then when the Senate, when he said, I will testify, all y'all have to do is just bring me in. And the only reason why he wanted to do it is because he wanted to get that last little bit he could put in his book.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have to understand. It's all about money. Ain't nothing funny.
And then on top of that, you talking about, and this is the money aspect of it. So
it's definitely about money.
Trump being Trump wanted to make sure that he had turned around, and this is why everybody, you asked me, what can I say nice about Trump? And I said he's straight gangster.
Right.
This is his Al Capone moment, because you know what the fuck he did?
What?
Trump turned around and told Bolton, if you testify, your book will not come out. I will cover that book in executive privilege, and it'll never see the light of day. So what did he do? He sat down and shut the fuck up.
Because he wants that money.
Because he wants that money. He wants that book to come out. Then on top of that, just as an extra fuck you, and this is why Democrats have such a hard time dealing with Trump. Because as an extra fuck you, Trump is still trying to block his book from coming out. Trump is saying, even though you didn't testify, I don't trust you enough. And now I think we're gonna hold on to that book under executive privilege. So what he's saying to Bolton is, You thought you was slick and you was gonna put something in your book,
but
and that book ain't go. I'm closing it down. Ain't no book coming out. You ain't gonna make me look bad. So I'm gonna cover your book and make sure, or you're gonna have to give a redacted version, which means that what they're gonna do is they're gonna read through it and they're gonna
take out what they want to take out,
and they're gonna they're gonna take it all the way back to the publisher. The publisher is gonna look at that book and tell him we can't sell this like this.
Yeah, because it's no juice.
It's no juice.
Yeah,
and so Bolton, you could have did the right thing and just went ahead and testified in the House.
But he did.
Got the information out there. Yep. And once the information got out, then there would be no way they could stop your book because it's known information. It's known information.
Yeah.
But now that you done sat on your book and you done thought you was gonna play a slicker game of chess, you got caught playing checkers.
All right, so let's keep it moving because we're running long.
So no, we're not. No, they know us. So, in pop culture, Dewayne Wade has a son that She wanted to be strong.
Is it a she or he?
It's a he, but he wants to be.
It's his son.
It's a son that wants to be considered
12 years
now
old.
a daughter.
12 years old.
Yes,
okay.
Want to be considered a daughter. Now, in the midst of all that information, Dewayne Wade got on Instagram, showed them in a golf cart, was talking, and she was telling him she's coming out and how she feels and why it's important. And
so how do you feel about that? You support that or you?
Now, for me, you have to understand. I talked about him several times.
Who, Dewayne Wade?
No. My Uncle Eric.
Oh, okay. All right.
My Uncle Eric was the most amazing man. When I was going through my training and I was ready to quit, my Uncle Eric was my
in the military?
Yes.
Okay.
He was one of my biggest champions and my hardest hammer. So when and he was a gay male who died of AIDS.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right.
My Uncle Eric Hughes. I even go when I get a chance. I like to go to the gay pride and I would walk with them.
Yeah, with his face on your.
I had it back in the day. Now I'll go and
memory.
walk, but I just let them know. And when people ask me,
absolutely,
I'm marching on behalf of my Uncle Eric Hughes who can't make it.
Right there you go.
So as somebody who is an extreme LGBTQ plus advocate and ally. How Dewayne Wade, how I feel about it is that, especially in dealing with kids, and especially when they have those type of thoughts and they have those type of feelings and they're trying to quantify it, I say just listen to them. Let them be them. Because you also got to remember that in high school and junior high, we had a lot of babies who were killing themselves. Yeah. Because they was from suicide because they were getting bullied, because people were, all the pressure and all this horrible stuff. And I think that you should first, if I had a gay son, I would tell him first and foremost, I love you no matter what you are. Right. I understand. You're my son and I love you. And I will always love you. Because my Uncle Eric taught me that there is no conditions on love. No, there's not. And with him, I agree with you. Being the type of person he was, who was amazingly strong, amazingly mentally tough, amazing person. He was one of the most amazing men I ever knew. Right. And he helped shape me into the man I am. So you support Dewayne Wade? I support Dewayne Wade 110% because as a father, your first is to do what? Protect and guide. Yeah. And sometimes you have to protect your child from themselves to make sure that they could feel like they can talk to you. Right. That they can come to you, that you're a safe harbor where they can come to, no matter what it is. Right. And what he handled it, perfect. Right. Well, I have to say that I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think Dewayne Wade did the right thing in supporting his son and his son's choice and so forth. And it's as simple as that. I'm with you 100%. And see, but my problem is that you have a lot of people who are sitting back, and I was actually listening to the radio and I was watching TV and Instagram and stuff, and you have, I'm not even going to mention his name because he's not that important to me, but you had this rapper who was just all of a sudden flying off. He's a child, and you don't know, and this, and he a child, and he a child. That is very true.
Right.
That is very true. He is a child. He might change his mind.
Right.
He might decide
he
tomorrow that
he
might see a girl that he liked that just entices him, and the whole situation changed. But he's a child.
Right.
Why are you worried about a child?
Well, he's probably just, whoever this rapper is, probably just voicing his opinion. I mean,
but the problem with that is those are the same type of opinions that have caused over several thousands deaths from kids.
Yeah, suicides. Yeah. I agree. When they're that young,
and the thing about it,
just leave that alone.
But even more importantly, this is where the whole ideal of bullying comes in.
Yep.
Because you got to understand, like when I was a kid, I had bullies.
Right.
And they could only bully me. My uncle used to have me laughing because he'd tell them most times they could bully you up to your door. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if my uncle or Miss Jenkins down the street or
Miss Jenkins,
shoot, Mr. Jackson, I miss you, Mr. Jackson. God rest his soul. If they saw me getting bullied, they would tell him, "You better fight."
Yeah.
Because my uncle used to always tell me, he's like, you can get over bruises, but you can't get over humiliation.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
But now, the way it is now, a bully can bully you 24/7, 365 with no let up. He could attack you on your phone. He could attack you on social media. He can get there and just go and go and go. So for you for somebody with that type of popularity,
that platform,
mm-hmm. knowing that you have a lot of fans, you have a lot of people, and you're
they
going
need
to
just
go
be quiet with that.
Exactly, you're going in on a child.
Alone. Yeah, leave that alone.
First and foremost, you're going in on a child. You are going in on a baby. So if the baby says, "I want to be a frog tomorrow, Dad,"
okay,
and that's all it means. That's why I say that the words "no comment" is just perfect,
mm-hmm.
because it's none of your business what he does with his child.
That's right.
It's truly none of your business. And then you got people, and you got these people who are, I call them shithouse psychologists. You're destroying his mind. You're warping his mind.
Shithouse
That's
psychologist.
That's the person that's never have a degree in psychology but knows more than Dr. Phil.
Oh, okay. I see.
Y'all need to shut the fuck up too, because once again, that's not your child. That child is never going to go to you and ask your opinion. So if that child is never going to come to you and ask you for your opinion, why are you giving it?
Oh, and since you mentioned Dr. Phil, that made me think of Oprah. We got a lot of bad hate mail about when he went in on Oprah last video.
Hi, Oprah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So do you want to apologize to Oprah?
Fuck Oprah. I'm not apologizing to her. Fuck her and Gail.
Okay, let's move on.
The thing about it, no, because since you brought it up, real quick and real easy. Snoop Dogg did.
He apologized.
He apologized because of the way that he came at Oprah and Gail.
Right.
He apologized to Gail because he was talking about "we're going to get you," which was
you can't make that a threat. Yeah, you can't say that. Yeah.
And he apologized for calling her a bitch.
Yeah.
The problem is that just like,
but you're not gonna. You're not gonna apologize.
Oh, I'm not apologizing for nothing. I meant every word, each and every word, because just like you feel like you have the right to do and say whatever you want, I, as an American citizen, has the right to express how I feel. See, the thing about it, what you don't fail to realize, people, is that just like somebody can say whatever they want, I have a right to react to it however I want.
Right, yeah.
So if I'm sitting here and
I'm being sarcastic because I know you weren't going to apologize.
Yeah. But if I sit back and apologize and things about that, especially because it's not going to come from a place of honesty.
Right.
It's not, because I think I didn't say anything wrong, and I can prove everything that I said.
Right.
So if I were to apologize for something, I'm going to apologize from the space that I know honestly, A, I have to feel remorse for it, and B, it has to be a reasoning why I should feel remorse.
Right.
I feel no remorse by what I said because I did not attack you as a woman. I did not attack you as a journalist. I did not threaten you.
Right.
All I told you is exactly how I felt. And
kiss the
hairiest crack of my ass. That's right. And that's what, and I mean that.
Okay, let's move on.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
So, I'm going.
You got any final thoughts? Because we're right at.
I got my
minutes.
last thought. So my last thought, I got two last thoughts.
Okay.
And if you want to go first?
No, you go right ahead.
Right.
I'll close it out.
Cool. So my first thing I want to say, if you know me, you will know that I am very, very pro-black. I love being black. I love my skin. I love my people. I love us because our story, even though we went through so much
Did you
in
see
this country.
Eric Dyson Clay at Aretha Franklin's funeral? He says he was making his speech. He says, yeah, this is too much black up in here. He says, you got people sending videos because they don't want to get up amongst this blackness. You got to watch that on YouTube.
I'm going to have to watch it.
I mean, he was speaking about Barack, but, because Barack's in a video. But I didn't agree with him, though. But it was so funny.
I had to check it out.
Okay.
But I like to always be a big champion for our people.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
My man, this rapper I like named Wale has this song called "Sue Me," and in the chorus of it, he says, "Sue me because I'm voting for everybody. I'm rooting for everybody black."
Mm-hmm.
I love that song.
All right,
just for that reason.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, with me, part of the things that I have, part of the problem is that when I see things that I don't agree with, it's like, I have to go ahead and say it, and this is my platform to say it.
And you should.
And one of the things is I got to say is that not everything is racist. Not everything is, there is racism.
But what do you mean by that?
What I mean, let me say, there is racism. We are in a country that has a track record for hating us.
Right.
We are in a country that it has been proven that it done everything humanly possible to keep our people, our class of race of people down. This country has done it. But if you're running out of Walmart and you have a whole bunch of stolen stuff and a police officer grab you, you can't yell racism.
No, you a thief.
Thank you. If you are speeding and you're driving and you pull, and as soon as you get pulled over for speeding, you pull your phone out, y'all racist. Y'all pulling me over because you're racist. They
pulled you over because you're doing 100 miles an hour.
And a 35. That means
you're going to jail.
The situation is going to convey itself. You cannot turn around and call everything racist.
I get your point. That's a good point.
Because when you do that,
you diminish.
You take away from the situations that really are racist.
Yes.
Because then it becomes calling wolf.
Yeah.
And if you sit back and consistently find it in yourself that every time is, oh, they racist. Oh, this happened because they racist. No. You didn't get that job because maybe you weren't the right fit.
Yep. Don't pull the race card out all the time.
Don't get me wrong. Yes, is the Trump government still fighting to take away our civil rights? Yes, they are. They're fighting in college right now to make it to where colleges don't have to accept black kids like they did in the early 80s, like they did in the 70s.
Is Trump trying to reverse everything that Barack Obama did for 8 years? Yes.
Not only what Barack Obama did, but what every civil rights leader's ever done. He's trying to reverse all of it under the guise with Stephen Miller.
Did he call Baltimore a rat-infested city?
Yes, he did. But just because
I got a whole list.
Just because these things are happening, let's not fall into trying to call everything racist. Because if you do that, you are giving these white people all the ammo they need to say, well, it probably ain't racist because they're calling everything racist now.
Right. I got your point.
So that's one. And two, so I was online. And I like to frequent Twitter a lot because, let's just be honest, I'm an avid debater and an asshole. And I love to debate. And during the time, I noticed that a lot of people were going in against, and once another favorite rapper of mine. I'm not going to mention his name on here because he probably wouldn't want me to, or even if he does, it's not that important. And they were going in, they were calling him anti-Semitic, they were calling him, oh, he's anti-black, and black people need to cancel him, and black people this and black people that.
So everybody, we have a lot of viewers. Tell them what
Anti-Semitic means that you're against Jewish people. You're against the Jewish faith. And a lot of times what you would say is a lot of people where you had the guy who ran up in the synagogue and killed a bunch of Jewish people. They call it anti-Semitic act. Which is still under hate crime, just like if you had somebody black killed, or if somebody walked into like Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof would be
South Carolina,
a hate crime just like that. Now, my problem with that is that there were lots and lots and lots of white people and Jewish people trying to tell black people how to be black.
Yeah,
that's not your lane. You have no.
What do you mean? Tell you how to be black?
By telling black people, if y'all really, black people, y'all need to come together and get rid of this guy. Black people, y'all need to be more alert you need to be more alert to different people like this who are making y'all look bad, and black people need to stand up and let this guy know that it's not okay with the stuff he's saying. And I had this guy even tell me, which I'm gonna get to in a second. So of course I'm debating, and I asked and I posed a question. I said, how can white America, with no identity in black America, tell black people how to think?
Or how to feel.
And how to feel, or even give us information on the black experience. It's impossible for you to do it because you're not black. The ability for you to tell black people how they feel is gone. You will never know how it feels. You will never know how it feels as a father having to tell your sons, because I have 3 of them, that how to deal with the police. You don't know how to do that.
That's very true.
You never know how it feels to sit up at night when your kids are out at a party or hanging out at the mall.
Because you can't sleep.
And because you don't know if they're going to make it home.
Yeah.
You never know the fear it feels when you pull up and the police got to turn their lights on behind your vehicle, even if they're not even pulling you over. Just them turning their lights on.
Yeah.
It feels like a death sentence. You don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels when people sit around you and then you know that they're openly racist, but you have to bite your tongue and be the bigger person because they're not going to go to jail. You are. See, these are the things that you don't understand.
Well, you're going deep today.
Oh, man. I'm about to hit him a little bit deeper. I'm about to hit him a little bit deeper. Because you're sitting back and you sit in this place of privilege. And let's take a look at it honestly. White privileges, you never have to worry about none of those things.
Really?
White privileges, you never have to. The problem, and then y'all get mad and y'all have the nerve to talk about y'all losing your rights. The problem is, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, the reason why y'all mad is because now y'all have to compete. Now you can't walk into a business and be white and hand them your resume and you get the job. Now you got to actually bring something to the table. Now you can't look and pull into a neighborhood and think that you're not going to see 1 or 2 of us living in that neighborhood, no matter how much the houses cost. You may see 5 or 6 of us living in that neighborhood because now you have to compete. You're not losing your rights. You're losing your privilege. So instead of you sitting back trying to point fingers about how black people this and black people that, instead of you trying to tell black people how it is and what we should do and who we should cancel and who we should keep, you should take a minute and shut the fuck up and listen. And maybe, just maybe, you'll get a little bit of that chip off your shoulder.
All right. Okay. All right. Moving into my final
He's
thought.
a little bit. Look, I got him.
All right. So I wanted to talk about voting and how important it is.
Get him.
And
Get him.
I definitely want to talk about making sure that you get out to vote. In the state of Texas, early voting started on February 18th, first day of early voting, and I voted about 9 o'clock a.m. I was there bright and early.
I got you done there vote too.
So I cast my vote. So I think I have the right to say you need to cast yours. It's very important. No matter what state you live in, no matter what the situation, no excuses, especially if you're in a state where they have early voting.
Yes.
I mean, you can go on Saturday, after work during the week, it's no excuse. So let's get out, cast your vote, and make sure we participate in this. It's essential that we get out and vote.
And it's essential that we vote locally as well as nationally, because these judges and these prosecutors and these sheriffs are getting voted in locally. These people are coming in.
Everything
locally.
is important. It's all important.
So if you're sitting back and you're complaining about how things are horrible and racist, change them by voting. Use your power to vote.
Barack used to say, "Don't boo, vote."
Amen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what you find is if you're getting out and you're actually voting, and make sure that you check and that your name has not been purged from the system also.
Yes.
Because believe it or not, there's a lot of
corruption
states where they are trying to purge votes, and people are not paying attention. So make sure that your vote, that your name hasn't been purged. But voting, you got to make sure you do that.
Okay, great. So we want to make sure that you subscribe.
Subscribe.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
Send us comments.
Comments all the way.
Keep the show going. Send all your hate mail to Larry. And we're going to come back at you next week with a fresh video with new topics. We love you, and we thank you so much for supporting us.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
All right.